Hi, everybody. This is Larry Varney. I'm here to talk about the TerraTrike Spider that Gary Solomon and I were lucky enough to go up and take a look at and ride. What I'm going to do is talk in general about the Spider. There are two different versions, what I'd call the regular one and the ATC, which is a little higher level. The things that they have in common and the differences. And I'll mention some of those things. You can judge for yourself in some cases which is important and which isn't. This is a performance trike. So people are going to be saying, well, how does it compare to such and such, which is also a performance trike? And we'll touch on that. The first day we were up there, I rode the performance, the ATC version. And on the second day, I rode the quote regular Spider. And first day was on more of a trail that led through some more of sort of in town and then gradually getting a little out of town trail, mostly flat and everything. And, nice trail and not very far from the TerraTrike factory. And the White Pine Trail that we rode on the second day is in Rockford, Michigan, a really nice looking little town. I thought to myself, as soon as I saw it, and the more I saw of it, I thought, I'm going to have to come back here again because it looked really nice. And the trail rode right along the river from the town out into the country. And at the start, there was this dam that was sort of ovally shaped and water pouring over it. And there were places for people to sit at picnic tables and stuff. And I thought, this is probably very popular in the summer. I mean, you know how I am when it comes to taking pictures. I wanted to stop and take pictures practically at every stretch along the river. It was when that, to the point when I was riding it, that I noticed it had direct steering, which is nice. It's more responsive and so on. But there's no suspension either. Very seldom will you find a performance bike or trike with suspension. And depending on how the construction is that going to make it like really, really rough? Well, I didn't have a chance to ride over like really bad cobblestones or anything. But in general, there were a few bumps here and there. And both the regular version and the ATC Spider didn't seem especially harsh. The frames have sort of a built in, I guess you'd call it, suspension, but no actual suspension. So if you live in a really rough area where there's lots of bad roads and so on, yeah, that'll be something you want to consider. These two trikes do not have suspension. It's not an option, but for normal riding and all that, it's probably not necessary. It's a two-piece aluminum frame design. Now, the ATC version does use carbon fiber in places where the regular Spider uses just aluminum. It's 7000 series aluminum too, by the way. But starting at the front and working our way back, you've got on the basic version the Shimano 105 crankset, also Shimano bottom bracket and derailleur. Now the seat height, as we're going back further, is 9 inches, but that bottom bracket height, which maybe I should have mentioned before, but it's up near the front, 13 and a half inches. So you can figure out, okay, I'm kind of like about a 4 inch difference between the seat height and the bottom bracket height. Some people I know don't like a big difference between the two. 22 speeds. We got 11 cogs in the rear and two chain rings in the front. Uh, the gear inches, as it comes from the factory, has a low of 27 inches and a high of 122. So you can tell right there what they're aiming at. This is not going to be designed for really steep mountain riding because that 27-inch granny, maybe if you add a assist, but I know I'd have problems climbing steep mountains with a 27. And the 122, that's going to give you some really high speeds on the top end. So, wheels, as I mentioned, there is some differences between the ATC, the higher version, and the regular Spider. Uh, they both have 20-inch wheels in the front and a 700 in the rear. And again, you have a lot alloy wheels on the regular version and carbon fiber on the ATC. When we're looking again at the wheels, the track width is 30 inches. Now, The overall width is a little bit wider, 33 inches, but not much. The total length of the trike is 81 inches. One of the things that really surprised me when I inquired about the specifications and everything, it's something that other people sometimes ask out on Writer Online or Facebook or whatever. They'll say, well, I need to lose some weight. Can this trike handle my weight? Well, according to the TerraTrike website, they list the weight limit of 280 pounds. Now, that's a lot. One other quote dimension that I always find interesting is the turning circle. How sharp of a turning circle does it have? For a lot of people, they'll say, "Yeah, big deal. I can turn at a street corner or whatever. It's no big deal." But some people who do a lot of, say, trail riding, those trails aren't as wide as a regular road, so the turning circle does matter to them more so than to others. So it's got a turning circle of 19 feet. That's another one of those things that when you're comparing this trike to other trikes and saying which one do I prefer, turning circle might make a difference. Now, I did mention the some of the differences already between the ATC and the regular carbon fiber rims. Oh, the boom is carbon fiber too, and the seat. People have probably seen pictures already, and they say, "Uh huh." The ATC, the higher version, has hard shell seat, carbon fiber. The regular Spyder has a mesh seat, aluminum. I do have to say that I rode on both. I like both. The ATC has a Ultegra slash GRX, also from Shimano, rather than the 105. The carbon fiber equipped ATC is about 5 pounds lighter than the regular version. It's a little under 30 pounds, and the other is a little over 30 pounds. So it's not the lightest trike I've ever seen, but still pretty good there. So, again, it's one of those things, performance, whatever, it's going to make a difference to you. So, how does it compare to the other performance trike, Cat-Trike 700 and the ICE VTX? It's going to be difficult to compare these three trikes without actually having them handy to use. I just have to say that they're very similar, and it's a really nice thing to say that people can look at this trike and what do they compare to? What do they want to look at? Two of the better performance trikes out there, the Cat-Trike 700 and the ICE VTX. So, yeah, they are in the league together. Whether or not one is going to be much better than the other, again, it's going to be up to you. The normal, regular, I keep calling it the regular Spyder, whatever you want to call it. The list price is $3,999. We can call it $4,000 just to round it off. And the ATC, it retails for $5,599. So we'll round that to $5,600. So there's like a $1,600 difference between the higher class model, the one with the higher level components, 5 pounds less weight, carbon fiber, hard shell seat, and so on. As I mentioned, Gary Solomon and I went to Michigan, got a lucky break. The weather was good, and we got a couple of days that we could spend riding. Now, I prefer reviewing something much longer term than that. So here's hoping spring will come sooner than normal, and that somehow or another a miracle will happen and I will get a long-term review Spyder sent to me.